Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about multiverse related stuff. Obviously, this is going to involve me talking about DC and Marvel's multiverse, and this will involve me kind of going into spoilers about Loki. So if you haven't caught up with Loki, do avoid watching this because I don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm trying to be safer than sorry because some of the points I bring up might end up being major spoilers, so that's why I'm trying to, But today's video in particular, the reason why I want to talk about the multiverse is because I think it's an interesting conversation I've heard in the past about the multiverse, and for some people they worry that when you introduce something like a multiverse, you feel like there are no stakes. Now, I get where some people are coming from for that, where it's a situation where it's like, alright, like, oh, this character dies, it's like, okay, a lot of that weight and tension is taken away when it's like, right, there's another version, multiple versions of that character somewhere down the pipeline in the multiverse. So I've always understood people's point of view. Mine has always been, I think even with a multiverse, you can still have weight. Like, a character's death can still mean a lot. Yes, there's another version of that character, but it still doesn't take away the pain that the character went through. Like, let me give you an example, because I'm reminded of this because of The Flash, where you have Jay Garrick, who was originally from Earth 3, now obviously because of this being post-crisis, a lot of Earths are collapsed into one, but Jay is the Flash, on his Earth 3, and he looks like Barry's dad, and he's the person he's currently with, Joan, looks like Barry's mom, Nora, which, yes, there's a side of Barry that has relief of like, right, these people who look like my parents are together in some shape or form. So it's like, yeah, there's a part of them alive, sure, but it still doesn't take away from the pain that, yes, Barry's parents are gone, because these people may look like his parents, but they aren't. Yeah, they might have some similarities and stuff like that, but it's like, because it turns into a conversation of what identifies a person, what makes a person, and it's their memories, their soul, and everything. It's like, yeah, these people may look and act like the people I know, but they aren't, because they don't have the memories. They didn't live the life that my parents did. So yes, I have this familial connection because, yeah, they look like my parents, but it's still not a full-blown familial connection because they aren't my parents. They're gone, and I have to accept that. Yeah, it's nice to keep them around, but I guess you can almost make the argument it's even more tragic because, yeah, these people are around, but it's just a stark and constant reminder of his parents not being around. That's how I've kind of interpreted that. Same thing for the complicated thing about, like, his, it's like, right, your Nora technically got wiped from existence because the timeline changed, but you still have your Nora, but it's like, is that still the same? I mean, she is the same in so many different ways, but she's still at the same time a different Nora. Even her being like, yeah, I feel like that Nora is a part of me too. Like, I never met her, but I like to believe that there's a part of her with me. And the reason why I can like have that same argument too with like Loki, like, showcases that very well. That yes, you have all these very different Lokis. Yes, personality wise, there's some similarities, but each one of them is their own individual person. Like, even like you see that the greatest example was Sylvie of just how different she is. Obviously, she lived a very different life. Like, even if you took a Loki that lived a very parallel life to the Loki that we followed from Thor 1 all the way to the beginning of Infinity War, like, even with similarities, even if they walk down similar paths, they are going to have different life experiences. That's just part of a multiverse. I mean, compare that Loki that we follow, like I said before, to the Loki who's went through this journey on the show Loki, and the very stark differences of how they ended up where they are. I feel like the Loki we have in Loki might be better, like, on the path of being a hero, more so than the one in Infinity War. But, that's my opinion. Once again, it's an argument where I can understand where people have their issues because they, like I said, they feel like that kind of takes away the stakes, like death doesn't mean anything, but I think it does because it comes down on like a cosmic level. Like, it does because, once again, every person in this multiverse is their own person. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm like a doppelganger of you. It's like, it's not like, oh, Sylvie's a doppelganger of Loki. No, she's her own person. She's lived her own life. She's had her own experiences. Like, they've had very stark lives. Like, maybe there's a certain point where it's like, oh, there's similarities here in certain regards, but there's like their lives heavily diverge. And I think that applies across all multiverses, whether it be the DC multiverse or whether it be the Marvel multiverse. Actually, I'd love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree when it comes to a multiverse? Do you feel like it takes away stakes because it's like, right, if this person dies, you can kind of just replace them with another version of themselves? Like, once again, that's the reason why, like, some people have that worry about, like, right, just because when a character dies, it's like, oh, we're just gonna pull this person from this multiverse. That's why some people feel like they don't want the multiverse to be the answer to everything. Like, they don't want to be like, oh, that's how we got X-Men. It's like, some people don't want that to be the way. Once again, we'll just have to wait a while to find out ultimately how the MCU handles that conversation. But going back to my main point, how do you feel about multiverses? Do you feel like they take away stakes, or do you share kind of a similar perspective that I have, that, you know, they may look the same, but they're not the same people that you lose? Like I said, I'd love to get to know your thoughts about it. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority in that belief. Maybe most people kind of feel the way of like, yeah, it ruins and takes away the tension and stakes. You know, I might be kind of alone on this island. So I'd love to, you know, have a conversation with you guys about it. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.